This is Lisa Simpson, star of the hit cartoon show The Simpsons, and have been running continuously since 1990. Yeah, 34 years and all that. Lisa is known as being the smart, gifted child of a family of five, with her two siblings being of average intelligence in her mind, and also loving parents, but sometimes neglectful, especially her father Homer. She has a on again, off again relationship with Homer because of Homer being neglectful. Has a awkward relationship with her mom Marge because of the fact that Marge sometimes wants Lisa to follow in her shadow. But of course, Marge has been known as being psychologically wrecked and all of that. And Lisa realizes how much Bart and Homer don't thank her enough. They're uncaring towards Marge. She also has a big brother Bart who's rather precocious and basically wants to pull pranks and try to cause destruction and be a sociopath in her mind. And her little sister Maggie, that can't really talk and all that for some whatever reason, but she does all that. Now, Lisa is a massive character in this, and I will explain, of course, the Degrassi connection to this Degrassism. But the fact of the matter is that Lisa is a character that a lot of people kind of hate, despite the fact that she's 8 years old and she's gotten a lot of vicious hate and all that. What does this have to do with Degrassi? Well, I'll tell you. And this is Emma Simpson. Well, Emma Nelson, but yeah, she ends up being a Simpson from Degrassi Next Gen. The muse for Next Gen and the central character. She's known for being a bit of a nuisance and a little precocious herself, basically putting sometimes a lot of people down other before her. And the fact of the matter is that she's got some problems to her as well. Her family life is that she has a mother, Spike, who's a good parent to her. And Emma appreciates Spike's sacrifices, especially after her birth father had that accident off the bridge, whether it was on purpose or not. It led him to be brain damaged and put into a home for mentally deficient adults. And the fact of the matter is that her stepfather, Snake Simpson, is a very good father, although Emma sometimes doesn't see it and tells Snake he's not her father. But Emma warms up to Snake and all that. She has a little brother, Jack, who's not really featured much or cared about much in the Degrassi universe, but still in the way. This. Everyone is like will be probably shocked about why I have Lisa Simpson and Emma Simpson, well, Emma Nelson, in the same video. Prepare yourself. This is a weird Degrassi video, but it's commonly known as a good old creation of mine. So this is a very important video. I decided to create this video based on the fact that, you know, when I look at Emma and I notice the hate she has from the Degrassi Next Gen fans, and most of it is warranted, I will admit that. But basically, after season 5, her hate level should be lower because she turned into a whole new Emma, if you will. And also, some Simpsons fans probably don't like Lisa because of her being a certain term that Mr. Burns said in an episode, liberal blank. I'm not going to say that second word because it is a little offensive. But Lisa can be annoying, brutish, and piss people the wrong way, like Emma. So in this video, I go through the biggest comparisons to Lisa and Emma and why they're connected by the hip, if you will. Comparison point number 1 is that they're both blonde and all that. But sometimes they try to change their hair color because of some weird things. Lisa, one episode, I can't remember the episode title name, but she tries to make an opinion, and Cletus, the slackjack Yoko, insults Lisa because she's blonde and that nobody will take her seriously because she's got blonde hair. And people have the suspicion. They don't like people with blonde hair and all that. They make blonde jokes and all that. Everyone laughs. Bart laughs at it. But Lisa tells Bart, "You're blonde too. Why are you laughing at that?" They're talking about blonde girls being ditzy and all that. Blonde boys can cause chaos and all that. And he makes some kind of comparison to Nazi time. I don't know why. So Lisa decides to dye her hair brown, make a very terrible statement at a debate thing, and wins the debate, proving that people look at the people's hair color and declare brunettes better than blondes. Lisa then tells about her story and all that and says that blondes are not stupid and all that. We need to get rid of these stereotypes, such as fat people are jolly and old people are bad drivers. Although comic book guy and Grandpa Simpson basically prove Lisa's things that wrong and saying that the stereotyping is correct, which is kind of stupid. Now Emma's blonde or strawberry blonde or brownish blonde, if you will, too. She gets insulted about her hair color in the famous Stoner episode, Touch of Grey, in season 8, when Emma is told by people that she tries to hang out with that she's blonde and predictable. And Emma's like, I'm not really blonde anymore. Because if you look at Emma's blondness in season 8 compared to earlier seasons, she's not really that blonde. So practically what she decides to do is that she's brunette. She decides to try to fit into society by producing pot brownies for her new friends and all that. But unfortunately, that blows up in Emma's face as one of them is so stoned she forgets to take her medicine for epilepsy. And everyone freaks out, and basically the college narcs out, and Kelly gets in trouble with the pot brownies. And Emma does want to confess her role, but Kelly says not to because it'll get her expelled. So yeah, so the hair color basically makes them blonde, predictable, and ditzy too. In Emma's case, she wasn't really that ditzy in the first 4 seasons, but after season 4, she fell flat and she was called blonde and predictable on a few occasions. And Emma unfortunately took that at face value, a challenge to try to improve herself. Another key factor with Lisa and Emma is they're both vegetarians. Although Lisa didn't really start out as a vegetarian as much as Emma did. Lisa was a meat eater, and there would be times she would eat meat and all that. But a season 7 episode called Lisa the Vegetarian changed things forever. Going to a Storytime Village thing aimed for people who are ages 1 to 7.5, to benefit Maggie. Lisa falls in love with this cute little lamb and all that. But somehow the lamb gets to her when she was eating pork chops. And she bleats, "Please, Lisa, don't eat me." And all that. "I love you. I love you. I thought you loved me." But then, Lisa then says she can't eat anything as innocent as a little lamb and all that. Marge offers her alternative foods like rump roast, chicken breast, and hot dogs. But Lisa envisions all the animal parts and then finally decides not to eat any more animals and all that because of how cute they are. Unfortunately, though, nobody gives her any support, especially with Homer throwing a barbecue to try to rival Flanders and his family barbecue. Homer does his own barbecue, but basically doesn't like Lisa trying to stick her nose with the vegetarian stuff and says you can't win friends with salad before doing a conga line. Lisa annoys the school a lot. They put independent thought alarms and switch them on. It's like, come on, you don't want the kids to think independently? Stupid Skinner. And this is before Skinner turned into Arminian. Regardless of that, Emma tries to spew her no, Lisa tries to spew her vegetarian views on everyone, but they just don't listen and mock her for it. She makes Gestapo ice cold vegetarian soup for Homer's barbecue, but gets laughed at. And then an inadvertent hunk of meat gets into Lisa's bedroom and splashes her in the face. And then Lisa, not thinking straight, decides to take the pig and float it away from the Simpson barbecue. Homer's not too pleased with it. Lisa leaves home and then finds Apu and the secret garden he has with Paul and Linda McCartney. And basically, Lisa knows that it's okay to be vegetarian, but you can't spew your fuse and force people to have the fuse and to tolerate everyone. So that's why Lisa tolerates Homer now. So that's Lisa. Now, Emma's vegetarian story was huge. I think she was a vegetarian from day one and all that. Unfortunately, though, Emma tried to push her vegetarian views on a few people, especially Kelly in seasons 8 and 9. Kelly just wanted to try a burger, but Emma pushing her views on him. That was one of the reasons why Kelly snapped and left for the Yukon. But anyhow, Emma being a vegetarian and pushing her beliefs on people were huge, because in season 2's Fight for Your Right, she does a presentation for Raditch alongside Ashley and a few other people about GMO foods, why they're bad, and non-GMO foods should be in the cafeteria. Raditch says they make a good presentation. Unfortunately, because of budgeting, he can't really do too much. So that's out the window. So Emma decides to pass out flyers and all that, thinking that her voice wasn't heard. Raditch takes away her flyers, and Emma is willing to wave the white flag until a cafeteria commercial mocks her values, and she basically blows steam and tries to take Toby's tray away, and then inadvertently starts a food fight, which Raditch blames on her flyers. Emma basically is upset with Raditch and decides to go after him, but Raditch wants Emma to apologize for the food fight and for everything that she's caused. Emma doesn't know what to do. She tells Snake. Snake says, as an educator, I can't really help you, but as a parent, I'm all for it. So Emma decides to apologize for the food fight, but then says that her free speech was violated and all that. She does give up partial things about her GMO foods causes, but the fact of the matter is that she'd rather have free speech and to get on Raditch's nerves, causing maybe a friction between Raditch and Emma that you can kind of see in season 4's Mercy Street. Trust me. So Emma, is so stricken by Kelly leaving, she actually wants to try some meat for the first time in 10 years, although Spinner tells her not to. She tries to get her vegetarian views on everyone, all that, and allegedly said she ate pizza and all that, but it was probably vegetarian pizza, or she was lying about it when she said that in season 4. But yeah, they're both vegetarians and both pushing the agendas for vegetarians. And let's talk about the friendship issues with Lisa and Emma. The fact of the matter is that Lisa is often depicted with having no friends in episodes. Her closest friend by approximation is Janie, but Janie has not been seen for many seasons, which leads people to believe that Lisa is friendless. Lisa does annoy people so much they don't want to be her friend and all that. She does get pictured in many seasons hanging out with other girls, including Sherry and Terry, Allison Taylor, from the episode Lisa's Rival, and even Alex Whitney, the girl from Lardo the Dance. But Lisa has troubles with friendship and all of that, mostly because she's outspoken, mostly because she doesn't understand what the other friends want and all of that. She's just basically shunned and all of that. Emma's friendship issues is basically her relationship with Manny, in a sense. Emma and Manny have a good friendship. Unfortunately, though, it's kind of one-sided, as Manny is more of a friend to Emma than Emma is to Manny. Now, Emma, one of her friendship things that I see and some people don't, is the fact that she's trying to protect Manny from herself, but goes overboard with it. She has the right idea, but the poor execution. The fact of the matter for Emma is that, her friendship with Manny was terrible and all that. And I will admit that. I mean, they went through some trials and tribulations. Manny joined the Spirit Squad when Emma thinks that group is sexist, even though Paige says we are going to have boys on our team, but it's not gender, it's sexism. They go through the test of time that when Manny tells Emma not to tell snake about Spike probably aborting the baby and all that just hours before the wedding, but Emma does so in this first place and says that, why aren't you supporting me? I did what was right. That's what a good friend would do. And then Emma, blowing a gasket over Manny trying to sexualize herself in season 3. And Emma does not like it, and Manny thinks that Emma's just jealous. Partially, but Emma has a point. And then is, of course, upset when Manny and Craig crash at Emma's house and sleep on her bed. When Emma stayed at a rave for Chris, but then couldn't be evil, and told Manny that he couldn't be evil. And Manny decides to break up with Emma, calling her a prude princess, and Emma calling Manny the school slut. Emma's fears are realized when Manny gets pregnant and all that. However, Emma stands up for Manny in the face of Craig, saying that, she should support the baby, but she's my best friend and I have to support her body. It's her body and her right to choose. Emma, I think, realized what Manny's going through and all that. And I think that Spike may have said something because, remember, Manny confided in Spike about a lot of things. So practically Emma and Manny's friendship also have the speed bump in season 4 when Manny tells Liberty about Emma's plan to try to break up Chris and Liberty because it would hurt Emma. For some strange reason, I don't know why, but Emma was just acting awkwardly. That loses Manny as a friend and, an ally for the whole Rick situation. Fortunately, though, she gets Manny back, despite being in zombie Emma phase. And then season 5, taking Manny in to her home after she gets kicked out of her parents' home for not obeying their commands to not do acting and all that. So Emma changes her tone, but Emma seems to be a little bossy and judgmental towards Manny in season 5. And fortunately, Manny stays by Emma's side when Emma has the eating disorder and then breaks up Pema infernally, but we're happy with that. Unfortunately, season 6, If You Leave, also brought Emma's friendship issues to the forefront. With Manny moving out back to her parents' place, Emma felt betrayed and alone in the wake of the whole JT situation. I mean, the dude died steps from Emma's house at a party that should not have been thrown. How else are you going to freaking react? Emma's guilt manifested itself into hate and all that. Fortunately, though, she does get Manny back as a friend. And they don't hurt each other, kind of, for the rest of the time. And another key moment with Lisa and Emma is they're both environmentalists. They both care about the environment despite people poo-pooing them. Lisa tries desperately to get people to like the environment and to drive electric cars and to be kind to the earth and all that. The whole Lisa angry meme about her was the whiteboard when she tries to get Springfield within the Simpsons movie to get rid of its pollution and all that and clean up Lake Springfield. But the fact of the matter is, one major episode about Lisa being an environmentalist was Lisa the Tree Hugger, in which Lisa falls in love with this environmentalist named Jesse, who does a protest about Krusty Burger and all that. And then wants to join Jesse's gang or Jesse's group. And practically they said that somebody has to guard Springfield's tallest tree because it's going to be chopped down by developers. So Lisa volunteers for the task and gets homesick and leaves her environmental thing behind. But then the tree gets struck by lightning, meaning that Lisa is technically dead, the people think. All that. But Lisa is alive and all that. Despite all the good that it kind of comes out of it, as Principal Skinner gives Bart straight A's because of Lisa's popularity within the school, and also the fact that Homer manages to get Moe to get rid of his bar tub and put pickled eggs down his pants. She realizes she had to speak the truth, so she did, and then the developers still want to cut down that tree and all that. So they kind of do some stuff and all that. But Lisa falls in love with the environment and all that. Emma's environmental crusades were major and all that. In season 3, she had the environment club and didn't get much support. But Manny gets her support and gets people within her group to care. But Emma realizes that it's because of Manny's sexuality and all that. And then learns that this is not right. I have to be honest with myself. So she says this stuff, and Manny says, Emma, I brought people to your environmental cause, your stupid causes, and all that. You should be happy. It's not a stupid cause. She was wearing the dolphin pants, participating in a lot of things to do with the environment. She doesn't really do much about the environment after season 4, but after all, her causes were just basically almost non-existent after season 4, with Rick having the gun at Emma's head, or if you will. I would be freaked too. So practically, that's what happens. And, they care about the environment, although they both get a lot of roadblocks thrown their way by people just not caring about them or them probably going overboard. But that's just the way they are. Now, this could be two separate things, but I decided to make it a twofer. They both attract creeps, and they both try to attract a mate themselves. As in, they try to find a guy who likes them. So practically, Lisa, when we talk about her, is that it's weird if the boys that are interested in her are Milhouse, Ralph, and Nelson. She attracts Ralph inadvertently in the episode I Love Lisa, when Ralph gets no Valentines and Lisa gives him a pity Valentine, which Ralph takes for love and all that. Lisa tries to gently break the news to Ralph, but Ralph is persuaded by Chief Wiggum, his dad, to be more persistent. So Ralph, using his father's influence, gets the lead role in the George Washington play on President's Day to be closer to Lisa, who was named Martha Washington. So anyway, Lisa doesn't know how to deal with Ralph's things. Ralph invites Lisa to the Krusty Anniversary special and proclaims his love for Lisa, but Lisa tells the world that she only gave Ralph that Valentine out of pity, and Ralph's heart really broke in half. Although Lisa and Ralph did reconcile. She attracted Nelson in the episode Date with Density, as she finds Nelson attractive and all that for some strange reason, and tries to change Nelson into a good guy, but the pure pressure from Jimbo and the gang leads him to egg Skinner's house and all that, and they basically break up. But of course, the big creep is Milhouse, who has an affection for Lisa, a one-way affection with Lisa. There are times that Lisa is attracted to Milhouse, but probably just to try to fit in. One was Lord of the Dance, when all the boys and girls are pairing up for a dance. Lisa doesn't have a date and then decides to ask Milhouse to dance, but Milhouse says he's already got a date. And Lisa threatens Milhouse before realizing what she has become. And in one episode, when Milhouse loves a girl named Taffy, Lisa tries to break him up, and Milhouse makes the speech about how Lisa rejects him handily too many times. And basically, when Milhouse is happy with a girl, Lisa is jealous. How much more does it take for you to make me unhappy? But anyway, yeah, Lisa attracts creeps and all that, and tries to find a guy. Like, she tries to find a boy that likes the same stuff as her, including Nick, but Nick's a serial liar. And although thinking that Marge is a prick in that episode, Marge basically wants Lisa to be under her shadow. But why would you? Lisa knows about Marge and her psychological problems and how Bart and Homer take advantage of her. As I said. But what about Emma? Does she? Yes. They both attract creeps. It seems that every guy that likes Emma is creepy, especially Toby. I mean, Toby wanted to be with somebody. I think because the aftermath of his parents splitting up, he just wanted to find someone. Emma, of course, did not return the attraction to Toby and all of that. But we all know about Rick liking Emma, but that was only out of pity, Emma said, because, she had the Orange Ribbon campaign, but it turned into a bullying campaign and nobody cared about the domestic violence part of the bit. So Emma stops it, even though that costs her pages click and basically makes her an outcast. So that was huge and all that. Like, Rick wouldn't take no for an answer and all that, and decides to shoot Emma for spreading his advances after he shot Jimmy. But Sean saves the day by taking out Rick. Inadvertently, of course, but whatever. But yeah, Emma trying to find a mate is the product of her being an ugly duckling and turning into a swan, if you will. That was practically season 4 when she tries to be with a guy. Well, my thinking is that she broke up with Chris trying to find somebody else who was attractive, like Manny is with Craig, and unfortunately couldn't find anyone and couldn't go back to Chris. She could have ran back to Chris, but she didn't. But Emma basically had a lot of her energy after season 4 trying to find a guy. Sean spurned her for Wasaga Beach, so in her mind, he was a coward. And then to replace Sean, she decides to go after Peter, despite the fact that Peter put Manny in a bad spot. But mostly because with Manny now under Emma's control, in a sense, Emma figures that she could be with Peter and Manny can't complain. Of course, that leads to an eating disorder, among other things, and Pema being universally hated. And unfortunately, that did not work so well, as Peter got in trouble for putting a mask in Emma's locker, and Emma finally realizing how much of a creep Peter is, but it only inconvenienced her, so that she cared about that. And then she goes for Damien, trying to be with Damien because she needs somebody after Sean leaves her for the army at the end of season 6, and adopts a dog to try to make Damien close to her. But Damien cheats on her with Liberty, and Emma learns to accept it. And then, of course, trying to woo Kelly and all that, and is upset when Kelly goes back to the Yukon. So yeah, they both attract the wrong type of people and try to find someone themselves, but it just doesn't work out that way. Another major point is they're both annoying AF, or of course they're both annoying as fuck. You know, the fan bases of the Simpsons and Degrassi think these two are terrible and all that, and they just like to push the envelope. Lisa in the Simpsons tries to get people to be vegetarians. She tries to get people to be smart and embrace themselves. She tries to get people to fix the environment. She tries so much to control people, in a sense. But unfortunately, it's portrayed as being illogical. Sure, Lisa's only 8 years old, but she's acting a little bit awkward. And yeah, Lisa has a persona problem, especially when Maggie outshines her in an IQ test. Lisa doesn't know what to do. She tells Marge that she's lost her identity, but Marge writes on a piece of paper, "You are Lisa Simpson," to who Lisa really is. But it's found out that Lisa subconsciously helped Maggie's IQ out because she wanted Maggie to succeed. Fair enough. But the simple fact is that in the later seasons of The Simpsons, practically by like the 20 seasons in the 20s and all that, Lisa's just disturbed and a little bit precocious and all that. She has her good moments, but practically people just want to ignore Lisa and all that. And Lisa, of course, goes nuts trying to prevent Marge from being the next Marge, because she realizes how much Marge is taken advantage of by Homer and Bart and is psychologically scarred. I'm sorry, but I'm saying that because Marge has to be psychologically scarred. Her sisters belittle her for everything. Her mother ignores her, and she had a close bond with her father before he died of lung cancer. So yeah, Lisa knows how much Marge is being laughed at and all that, and she doesn't want to be like Marge. Emma, of course, within the Degrassi universe is annoying AF because of her trying to push her views on people, trying to push friendships, trying to push things within friendship with Manny, and just trying to do everything. Unfortunately, it's also a persona issue with Emma. She tries to find herself. In the first 3.5 seasons, she's this bossy, know-it-all, makes mountains out of molehill, triggered character that a lot of people really hated. And I bet internet boards in those days were really bad on Emma. The simple fact is that, you know, it was on a persona. But Emma lost that persona after Rick had the gun at her head. And in her mind, she realized that if she hadn't been so pushy with the campaign, Orange Ribbon campaign to drive Rick out, then maybe Rick would not have targeted her. But it had to be done. She had to tell Rick that she was just being nice. But she had the gun at her head, and fortunately, Sean saves the day. Emma turned into zombie Emma for the pretty much the rest of season 4, basically not doing well in school, being attracted to Jay of all freaking people and catching that social disease from him. And then season 5, she starts in a boyfriend chasing phase, trying to find a guy to maybe make her forget about Sean and all of that. But the fact is that she was annoying in the other way possible, as in she was boring, bland, and she just basically threw out everything about her and tried to be more friendly, try to have friends and try to have a boyfriend. Of course, Ian Holiday wrote in season 9, it crashes down on her. Kelly leaves for the Yukon. She doesn't have a guy. And worst of all, she doesn't have Liberty and Manny to fall back on, even though they both went to college with her. Liberty went to pre-law and Manny went to Hollywood. So Emma was practically by herself. I bet you down on the internet she was by herself in that dorm. Or she dropped out. I think she dropped out at that point. I can't remember. But no, she said to Snake that, she was chasing friends instead of grades and all that. She was just lonely. I mean, Manny and Liberty abandoned her and she was just trying to find friends and all that. They both are annoying. And there's that famous episode of The Simpsons called Clown in the Dumps that I'm making kind of a connection to. In one scene, Lisa tries to bubble wrap Homer, worrying that Homer's going to die like Krusty's dad died earlier in that episode. And Homer tries to tell Lisa that, I could be dead any minute now. I don't plan more than 5 minutes ahead of time and all that. And then fortunately for Homer, the bubble wrap saves his butt from being hurt from Otto in an accident. And then he hugs Lisa, and Lisa hugs him, saying, "That's all I ever wanted, a tiny bit of control." And unfortunately, that leads me to the "If You Leave" final scene, in which Emma tries to explain her actions to Manny about her being buoyant in season 6 and almost starting Lakehurst Degrassi again for her benefit. Manny tells Emma that you made me the bad guy. You're better than this. And we're good friends. And whatever happens, we've been able to stick it out and stick it through. And Emma says, thanks for the reminder. And then hugs Manny. I can just picture Emma kind of thinking, that's all I ever wanted. A tiny bit of control. Because she kind of can control Manny and all that. And trying to control her life. Because Emma was trying to control herself post Rick situation. And to me, If You Leave was a manifestation of her trying to be the old Emma again, failing, people not liking it, and then she realized she has to change her persona in a bad way, in a sense, but also in a good way. So that's all I've got for this presentation. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk, although it was over 30 minutes. But you can see Lisa Simpson, annoying. Emma Nelson, annoying. But don't hate these characters. They're just kids, and they just make rash decisions, and they both try to be good people and have good personas, but nothing is the same. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.